Okay, I want to go back. I'm going to just touch on South Africa, Shaka Zulu, and the Jews. And what you see here is, I got to clean this up, but this is again another lecture by Dr. John Henry Clarke, where he, Dr. Clarke was a scholar and he traveled. And this is what he says in this tape right here. This is recorded in the history of the Jews in South Africa. He says he has the book and the treaty. He saw the book and the treaty in this actually recorded event. 2 months, now this is a tape on Shaka Zulu. This tape is on the bio of Shaka Zulu. He's explaining Shaka Zulu and how at the end of Shaka Zulu's life, there were people who thought that Shaka Zulu was losing his mind. And he was doing some things that were kind of unorthodox. But to prove that Shaka Zulu was of sound mind and body, Dr. Clarke adds this little quote right here. 2 months before his death, he, Shaka Zulu, signed a treaty granting a piece of land in Zululand for the settlement of the Jews. I've got the treaty, I've got his signature, and the date. And yet most historians say that he was insane during that last month of his life. He obviously was not. That was a very tight treaty. Because it was so tight, if the Jews let any enemies of the Zulus move in over the land, they would lose their land. And if the land was ever used as a haven for the enemies of the Zulus, they would lose the land. It was a tight treaty. No insane man could think that way. And so, when I said earlier about Israel being in Africa, you got that out of Genesis 47. With the whole idea of the concept of the chosen people, and that God is in the real estate business, securing land for, I know people who are choosing people, and this is not meant to be to degrade a religion. All these are African religions. All of them share in common the immortality of the soul and the judgment, the personal judgment of the dead. But out of all of the religions, none of them have this ideal of a chosen land that is specifically for people. But in Israel right now, we all know that they do have the nuclear bomb, and that is where all the oil is, and whoever controls that land over there controls the Mediterranean. They can control trade, and the fact that oil is such a commodity. There's oil in everything. There's oil in our clothes. There's oil in our carpet. So oil is not just for cars. But it's just interesting that the conflict in the Middle East is unfortunate. But here you have the United Nations giving the land to the settlement of the Jews, and these Jews were, they claimed to be Ashkenazi Jews, 95% of them, but interestingly they're from Europe. They have, my point is, and that I think the evidence shows that the Jews who are in Israel right now, they have no biblical connection with the ancient Jews in Israel. And we can get more further into that, but this is not just my opinion, this is the opinion of scholars. This is the opinion of the Catholic Church, and even opinions of, you have the Jews for Jesus. So this is nothing new. I think the point is that as adults, we have to solve conflict, and we have to resolve it in a Christian and in a moral manner.